Emotional intelligence in love and relationships. It's time to help a lover out. Kindly subscribe to this channel. Learn why emotional intelligence, EQ, matters in romantic relationships and how you can use it to strengthen your partnership, increase intimacy, stay connected, and build a love that lasts. How emotional intelligence, EQ, impacts relationships. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is the secret of lasting intimate relationships, largely because it makes us extremely aware of the changes, large and small, that are constantly occurring in ourselves and others. By building your EQ, you'll have the sensitivity that each of us is always seeking in a significant other. You'll automatically sense, through active awareness and empathy, the little shifts in the dynamics of your romance that signal a need for action. We have the potential to attain the kind of love we all dream of: mutual kindness, real commitment, soulful caring, simply because of empathy, our innate ability to share emotional experience. But to reach the height of romance, we need all the skills of a high EQ, sharp emotional awareness to avoid mistaking infatuation or lust for lasting love, acceptance to experience emotions that could harm a relationship if left to fester, and a vigilant active awareness to appraise us of what's working and what isn't. Building emotionally intelligent romantic relationships. We don't have to choose the wrong lovers, end up in multiple failed marriages, or let the romance seep out of our long-term relationships. We don't have to let conflicting needs and wants to come between two people who love each other. We don't have to resign ourselves to boredom or bickering in our love lives. We have the potential to attain the kind of love we all dream of: mutual kindness, real committed, soulful caring, simply because of empathy and our innate ability to share emotional experience. But to achieve those relationship goals, we need all the skills of a high EQ. Astute emotional awareness to avoid mistaking infatuation or lust for lasting love. Acceptance to experience emotions that could harm a relationship if left to fester, and vigilant active awareness to apprise us of what's working and what isn't. Fortunately, your EQ doesn't need to have peaked before you embark on love. In fact, for many people, falling in love serves as motivation for re-educating the heart. That's why some of the most deeply passionate lovers are in their 80s. They discover that two high EQs add up to a romance that never stops growing, never loses excitement, and always strengthens them both, individually as well as collectively. Actively seek change in your relationship. When you write out your fear of change, you discover that different does not necessarily mean worse. Things often come out better than ever on the far side of change. Any relationships not nudged toward the kind of growth you want will drift into change of another kind, maybe one you don't want. Your ability to embrace change pays off in courage and optimism. Ask yourself, does your lover need something new from you? Do you need to schedule some time to reevaluate together? Are external influences demanding a change in your respective roles? Are you as happy as you used to be? Without EQ, such questions are often just too scary to face, so many lovers ignore signals of change until it's too late. View the challenges you encounter as opportunities rather than problems. Your courage and optimism allow you to view dilemmas not as problems, but as challenging opportunities. How creative can the two of you be? When you don't need to blame each other for your emotions, you're not controlled by negative emotional memories, and you're alert not to repeat the same old mistake. When you have a high EQ, you're liberated from ruts and resignation, and you can get down to resourceful problem solving. You can meet differences between you and unavoidable crises as invitations to find each other, challenges to get closer and emerge individually and collectively stronger. Respect all the feelings you have for each other. We're not always delighted by the discoveries we make about the person we love, but when it comes to emotions, it's necessary to accept them all. Being in love doesn't mean never feeling angry, disappointed, hurt, or jealous. How you act on your emotions is up to you. What's important is that you actually feel them. Many relationships have been ruined by blame, and millions of couples have missed out on deep intimacy because of shame. Both are cruel remainders of unfelt anger, fear, and anxiety. If you've done the work of building EQ, you'll experience the emotions and get on with your life together. Keep the laughter in your love life. To avoid intellectualizing emotions, you need acceptance, and a big part of your acceptance comes from laughter. Lovers who can't laugh together about themselves probably aren't very accepting of their relationships. They may not be able to tolerate its unique flaws and inevitable stumbles, any more than they can put up with their own. They're also less likely to be open to a relationship's most pleasant surprises. Your high EQ, in contrast, means you can keep improving your relationship, but you'll never get trapped by intolerant expectations of perfection. Pay attention to how you feel when your lover is not around. Fortunately, you have a flawless way of monitoring exactly how your relationship is going. Use the 3 gauges of well-being to figure out how the rest of your life is going. Are you feeling restless or irritable in general? Do you drag through your day at the office or school after a night of marital bliss? Do you resent family and friends even though the two of you are spending every available minute alone together? Love never benefits from tunnel vision. If you don't feel energetic, clear-headed, and benevolent all the time, it doesn't really matter whether you coo like doves when you're together. Cozy hearing hi, honey when you come home at night but are having trouble getting up in the morning, something's not right, even though everything feels warm and fuzzy in the castle. When this happens, all the information about you, your lover, and your relationship that your emotions and your intellect have gathered will steer you to the best solution. If you're new to love or new to EQ, your course will be surer if you remember to stick to these tips. Let the 3 gauges of well-being inform you about the romantic choices you make. If you feel energized, mentally clear, and more loving generally, you're in a relationship with the future. Let your lover know what you feel. If you're going to communicate anything, express what you feel, as it defines who you are. If you pretend to be someone or something you're not, you'll never feel loved. Listen from emotional experience. Attune to your lover's feelings as you listen to his or her words. Show the support and love that your lover needs. One person may find a suggestion or a helping hand useful or comforting, another person may find the same action intrusive. Not everyone likes to be touched in the same way, enjoys being affectionate in public, or responds the same way to receiving gifts. When in doubt, ask. When you're first falling in love, how can you tell whether this person is the one? How do you know whether you're in love with a real person or just in love with love? If you've been burned before, how can you avoid repeating your mistakes? Listen to your body, not your mind. We choose a mate for reasons that have to do more with what we think than how we feel. We conduct our relationships based on how things should be or have been. Real love is possible between you, and if you're each falling for a real person or a facade. At yourself, or show affection when it seems most frightening. If not, you may have found someone with a low EQ. Afraid that if I take this job you and the kids will be neglected. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.